Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about the Russo Brothers teasing Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. We also do have a journalist asking whether we are going to be seeing the X-Men in both projects. And so let's start with the first question. And the Russo Brothers claimed, I think these movies are going to be a surprise to people. We found a way into the story that's very exciting to us, but we think very radical. And I think it's going to challenge audiences. The Russo Brothers then also said that they will be filming in London in April, and they're going to be shooting both films back to back. Then they continued, it's also a lot of work again. We may or may not survive, but we'll see. So first of all, this is not the first time the Russo Brothers teased Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. And they have been very consistent when it comes to being very excited about the story that they are going to be creating. Because keep in mind, the only reason why the Russo Brothers have returned to make two other Avenger films after Infinity War and after Endgame is because they found a way and an avenue where they're going to be able to tell a story unlike anything else. The last thing the Russo Brothers want to do is to repeat the exact same formula of Infinity War and Endgame, and that is also part of the reason why they did not want to come back to make more movies in the MCU post Endgame. That is because they knew that they have hit a ceiling and they can no longer find other ways to find a different story to tell. But ever since last year, everything that they have been saying has been about, we found a new story and we want to tell it, and most importantly, it's compelling and it's going to challenge the audiences, right? It's going to be a fresh take, and we're going to be watching this movie and saying, oh my god, this is very different to what we saw in Endgame and in Infinity War. So I am happy to see that the Russo Brothers are no longer creatively exhausted and they're willing to give us their time and energy to really conclude the multiverse saga. The Russo Brothers last year also explained that over the past few years, they have always kept the door open with Kevin Feige and Esposito, and through the years, Anthony Russo specifically was exploring various ideas, but nothing really ever clicked over the past 3 to 4 years until they stumbled upon an idea that did activate all of them. He also explained that it was very unexpected, that you could not see it coming until it came, and once it came, it was like, well, that's a story we do need to tell. Joe Russo also elaborated on how this pivotal idea took shape, and he said that he wanted to call Stephen McFeely and he wanted to pitch him the idea on what he wanted Secret Wars to be. And so he made that call, and McFeely said, fuck no, absolutely not, right? On whatever Joe Russo did state on what the story should be. But then in the next morning, McFeely called back with enthusiasm, and he also developed an idea that did align with their vision. And that is where everything began, right? That is where they said, okay, we have an idea, we have a story, let's do Doomsday and Secret Wars. The Russos have also tied their return to their love for the Secret Wars comic storyline, and they called it the reason why they fell in love with comic books in the first place. It is because of the Secret Wars comic book storyline, and hence the reason why before they were willing to do Secret Wars, they wanted to make another movie before that, which was Avengers Doomsday, that does revolve around Victor Von Doom. Hence the reason why during Comic-Con they were saying, okay, we're going to be doing Secret Wars, but in order to set that up, we need to have another very important movie to take place before that. And that is why Dr. Doom came into the picture. So I'm glad to see that they're not going to be returning for just a paycheck, right? They could have just returned and say, okay, we're just going to be doing the exact same thing, exact same formula to what we did with Infinity War and Endgame, and that's it. Give me my $80 to $90 million. It's not the same formula. It's not going to be that typical thing that we always say that, you know, how the Avengers will be losing in the first movie and then in the second movie they come back. It's just not going to be like that. In terms of what these two movies are going to be about, the only thing that we do know is that in Avengers Doomsday, they're going to be taking inspiration from Time Runs Out storyline. The Time Runs Out storyline does center around the Avengers and the Illuminati, where they clash over preventing universe-destroying incursions, a concept that was first introduced in the Multiverse of Madness film, and they're going to be referencing that again in Avengers Doomsday. So we are going to be seeing the Illuminati destroying other universes to save their own. And of course, in that storyline, it was opposed by Steve Rogers. So it does ultimately revolve around a plot where it is a countdown to the last final incursion between the main Marvel universe, which in this context, Universe 616, and the Ultimate Universe, leading into Secret Wars. Now, of course, they're not going to go word for word when they translate this comic into Avengers Doomsday. Of course, they're going to be changing some things, like if you go back to the Infinity Gauntlet storyline, right? They got their inspiration to make Infinity War from that, but they did not copy every single image and every single scene. It is not the same story. There was a different twist to it, and they just made it more simpler for the general audience to follow in the actual live action film. So the same thing is going to go on when they want to bring in the time runs out storyline to life. It's going to be a little different. Like, so let's just say, for example, right, I'm not saying that this is going to be real or any of that, but let's just say, for the sake of an example, in Time Runs Out, it is Avengers versus the Illuminati, but maybe in Avengers Doomsday, it could be the Avengers versus the evil Avengers, led by Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom. And we can also see Captain Hydra, an evil version of Thor, an evil version of Hulk, etc. As for the details, when it comes to the plot of Secret Wars, I have no idea what could that be about. For sure, it is going to be like a cameo feast. Like, we're going to be seeing so many characters come from the Fox universe, from the Sony universe, from the MCU, everywhere. We're going to be seeing every cameo they can possibly think of in that movie. But as for the plot, we just don't know as of now. Honestly, all I can tell you is it is going to be filled with cameos, and we're probably going to be seeing Battleworld being formed by Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom. The Russo brothers were also asked about if we're going to be seeing any X-Men characters in Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, and they have said, who knows? I still don't know. Anybody in the Marvel bag could show up in this movie. So obviously we are going to be seeing the X-Men characters in both films, like, for sure. As a matter of fact, I can guarantee you guys we're probably going to be seeing the OG Fox actors before we do see the new X-Men during the conclusion of the multiverse saga. So for example, we have already been teased Beast in the Marvels. He's going to be there. We have already been teased with, well, not teased, but basically we have already seen Hugh Jackman's Wolverine in Deadpool 3. So he's obviously also going to be there. Deadpool's also going to be there. Gambit will also make his return. Professor X as well. We saw him in the Multiverse of Madness. They will all make their return. But the big question is, are we going to be seeing the new version of the X-Men that will be assembled by Kevin Feige? Keep in mind that this new version of the X-Men that we will be seeing post Secret Wars, they're all going to be very young, right? Currently, right now, at the time that we are watching this video, or whatever you're doing, Marvel right now are literally casting young actors to play certain roles for the MCU X-Men. Kevin Feige has also explained that the X-Men's significance is going to be huge post Secret Wars. In late 2024, in an interview, he did state that the whole story of Secret Wars really leads us into a new age of mutants and of the X-Men, which is going to be a major shift after the multiverse saga. So that is why I do say, right, like, there is going to be X-Men characters there. The questions are, who's going to be there and what are they going to do with them, and who's going to be casted? Back in July 2024, Kevin Feige also said you'll probably see a mix of characters you've seen before and characters you have never seen before. Once again, this implies that Marvel are going to be having Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, Deadpool, Beast, etc., while at the same time introducing new faces. I can't wait to see how they do explain where the MCU X-Men have been all along. And recently, I think about a week ago, Marvel Studios executive Brad Winderbaum also confirmed that they are actively developing the X-Men reboot film. He quoted, "This is the focus of X-Men currently." In terms of the rumors on who's going to play who, we have heard that Margaret Qualley could be playing Rogue. We have also heard that Harris Dickinson could play Cyclops. Sadie Sink could also play Jean Grey. We have Julia Butters, who could also play Kitty Pryde. Again, all of these are just rumors. They could be fake or they could be real, but there are rumors currently floating around the media. For now, and at the very least for the next 9 to 10 months, Marvel does plan on including X-Men characters into different projects. They're going to start sprinkling in these things gradually, because the last thing Marvel want to do is, just out of nowhere, after Secret Wars, we see our brand new X-Men. No, we're probably going to be seeing a new X-Men character in Fantastic Four, maybe Thunderbolts, maybe in Avengers Doomsday. We could also see another one in Daredevil Season 2. It's going to be sprinkled all around. Reportedly, Marvel wants to make this transition very, very fluid. And so let me know in the comment sections down below, what do you think is going to happen in Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars? Like, what plot line do you see happening? And how do you see the X-Men getting integrated into the MCU? I'm also going to be making some Deadpool Born Again videos starting next week, because the premiere does start next week on Tuesday. So I am going to be covering every episode and explain exactly what is going on. It's going to be very exciting. Based off the reviews that have been coming out from many journalists, they have all said that the Daredevil Born Again series is most likely, like, they're like 99% sure it is the best show Marvel has put out since Avengers Endgame, beating other shows like WandaVision and Loki Season 2. So make sure you do subscribe to the channel, and thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.